On everybody, what is going on? The catch fam. I hope you guys are doing great. Hope everyone out there is having a fantastic weekend. Boy, oh boy. Hope you guys are ready for week 7 of the fantasy season because we got a doozy. We got another tough week against us, ladies and gentlemen, but should be a great weekend of football. So we're gonna get up to date on injuries, up to date on all fantasy football related updates, and kind of go through any relevant news as we're less than 24 hours from week 7 kicking off. So whether you like it or not, week 7 of the fantasy season is upon us, and you know what that means. We need to do some live fantasy Q&A. Whatever you guys need, hop in the live chat. Let's talk some fantasy football tonight. Start, sits, ads, drops, last minute waiver additions, trades, roster reviews, whatever you guys need. Let's have some fun. Let's talk some fantasy football tonight. I do want to apologize for like the last 2.5 weeks. Have not been able to stream as often. I've been sick. My daughter has been sick. That whole like back to school thing that they talk about with toddlers is no joke. So I've been off and on sick for like 2.5 weeks, as has my daughter. And this past week, I was really sick. I don't know if you guys could tell in the videos. Like, apparently, it wasn't too bad, but like every video that went out this week, especially the videos that went out early in the week, like the start sit videos, I was really sick. So I do apologize. And definitely going to try and get more live streams here on the schedule, but it kind of is nice to just do 1 or 2 big live streams throughout the week, and it seems to bring all you guys in here at the same time as well. So we'll figure it out, guys. But we are almost halfway through the season. So once we're halfway through next week, halfway through week 8, I mean, that's halfway through the season, fantasy season, that is, which is crazy to me. But it's flying by. Season is going fantastic here on the channel. So thank you guys for everything. Thank you guys for all the support. And let's talk some fantasy football tonight. All right, getting the poll set up here. We got some good games this week too. Like somehow we're going to get the Jets and the Steelers on Sunday Night Football, which is interesting. We're getting Russell Dangerous is coming out. Russell Wilson versus Aaron Rodgers with Devontae Adams. So I actually think that like will be interesting to see in prime time, I guess. Maybe I'm making excuses here, but like we got the Niners Chiefs, we got the Packers and Texans, we got the Ravens and the Bucks. Like we got good games. So all right. Let me quickly run through the news. And there's your guys' poll for the night. All right. So Ramondre Stevenson of the Patriots expected to play in that London matchup versus the Jags. If you own Ramondre Stevenson, he's a great start. We can't ignore this matchup against the Jaguars. And anyone who plays against the Jaguars, we got to start him. I mean, literally in the last minute waiver video, I talked about Drake May, Hunter Henry, Demario Douglas, and Antonio Gibson if Stevenson was out. They're just that bad. They're that bad. So, yes, Ramondre Stevenson in. If you own him, he should be in your lineups. The Jaguars giving up the 24th most fantasy points to the running back position. Mason Rudolph will get the start for the Titans. So, I know this doesn't really impact a ton of fantasy rosters out there, but I do want to say if you picked up the Bills defense, I still think they're definitely playable, but their upside kind of lowers a little bit. I mean, Will Levis between 1 and 3 turnovers in every single game of the year. So like Mason Rudolph, maybe not great, but it's probably also not Will Levis. Like I don't think when he played earlier in the season against the Dolphins, I don't think he had any turnovers, but I might be wrong. No turnovers. It was 9 of 17 for 85 passing yards. And that's it. So, like, yeah, I mean, I don't know if this offense is going to be exciting, like, but it is probably better for like D Hop and Ridley owners. But are you really even planning on starting those guys? Probably not. I mean, I think it's just Tony Pollard. So, but yeah, if you were like super excited about starting the Bills defense this weekend, I still think they're very startable, but I don't know if the turnover upside is as crazy high. But they've still been a good defense thus far on the season. So we'll see what happens. All right. Kenneth Walker is dealing with an illness. He's been downgraded to questionable here in week 7 against the Falcons. So this is just one of those things we're going to have to monitor it. I think if he suits up and plays, he's probably fine. If Charbonnet's hanging around out there and Walker does not play, then Charbonnet is going to be a good start. Now, not a fantastic matchup on paper. Falcons are 6th against the run, top 10 against the run, but Charbonnet is still a fine start. TJ Hawkinson not going to play this week for anyone getting hopeful about Hawk. Mike Evans is good to go off of the injury report. He will play Monday night. He's going to have a good bounce back game against that Ravens secondary. Marvin Harrison Jr. has cleared concussion protocol. He will play on Monday night. We already briefly mentioned this, but Russell Wilson is going to start, I should say. Like, I think for a lot of people, we're mainly just looking at George Pickens here. Like, how does this impact George Pickens? And I would just say, I think this could definitely be good for George Pickens, undoubtedly. But this is a bad matchup against the Jets. Like, I'm not going to start George Pickens this week if I don't have to. He's going to get the Sauce Gardner treatment. I think like this does probably benefit Pickens and Freiermuth because there's been really no passing game with Fields at quarterback. But against the Jets, I'm not really feeling good about either of these guys if he can avoid it. Tua should be playing next week, and week 8 is the report. So for all you who went out and traded for A-Chain and Hill, maybe Waddle, maybe you're feeling pretty good. We'll find out. Okay, so Dallas Goedert is out. Jordan Mason not on the injury report. Devon A-Chain is out of concussion protocol. Should be a good start against the Colts. Nick Chubb will make his season debut. And that's about it. Well, yeah, that's good enough. All right, let's get to your guys' questions. There's the news for you guys. All right, McDouble, Baker or Love? And that's your guys' poll question for the night. The poll is sitting at 68% Baker, 32% Love. Now, I think both are great starts. Like, this is definitely a tough conundrum to have on a weekly basis. Like, you're going to have weeks where Love outscores Baker and vice versa. But I'll say this much. I think Baker, very tough to bench right now. And it's a good matchup. I mean, the Ravens, this defense is just struggling, giving up the 30th most fantasy points to the quarterback position. They have faced some pretty good quarterbacks so far on the season. Outside of Gardner Minshew, like have faced all studs. And the thing is, this is another stud. Say what you want about him. This is another stud. And Baker. So, yeah, I'm going to keep rolling with Baker until the wheels fall off. But Love is still a great start. I mean, and I like that game script a lot. Smokey, what's up? Chase Brown or Eckler? I probably still lean Chase Brown due to the volume, I think, being better. Now, if Brian Robinson doesn't play, then it's Eckler. And I do like Eckler this week. I've talked about him throughout the week on the channel. I think Eckler is a very solid start, whether B-Rob plays or not. But he only becomes a must start if B-Rob is out. So I I probably stick with the volume here and go Chase Brown, but definitely close between those two because the Panthers are so bad against the running back position that, Eckler could get 10 touches and catch 4 passes and turn that into 20 plus fantasy points. So it's definitely close here, but yeah, I'll go Chase Brown. It isn't a great matchup. The Browns are 12th against the running back position, but I just like this might be a mistake by me, but I have no fear of the Browns defense whatsoever. Now, this is a road game for the Bengals, and Joe Burrow has historically played poorly against the Browns. So we can keep that in mind too, I guess. MH Jr. or Higgins, I mean, I'm probably not benching Marvin Harrison Jr. if I own him, but I do like Higgins a lot this week. I probably go Higgins, but I mean, who are you exactly starting over Marvin Harrison Jr. is the thing. It's a tough matchup. The Chargers 8th against opposing wide receivers. I probably go Higgins. Rams or Bengals defense. Whew. I don't trust either defense. Like, I know they're both popular streamers for the week. I probably go the Bengals. I want to say the Rams, but I just don't trust them. I mean, the Rams had 11 fantasy points in week 5 before the bye. They get Aiden O'Connell. It's not a bad start. The Bengals 8 points last week against the Giants. I mean, they're playing Deshaun Watson. He didn't have any turnovers last week against Philly. Like, a lot of people streamed Philly, and Philly did nothing. So that's the thing. Like, people are streaming Philly again this week against the Giants. And I'm like, why? Maybe I think I kind of actually lean the Rams. I think they're a little bit more sneaky. I have a really tough time trusting the Bengals defense. Definitely close calls. Ghost Hunter, what's up, bro? Full PPR flex Deontay, A-Chain, or Mason. Yeah. This is going to be a really interesting week for Jordan Mason, dealing with that shoulder injury. He's good to go. He gets a tough matchup this week. Tough matchup against the Chiefs. And, like, are they going to spell him at times? I mean, the Chiefs are giving up the fewest fantasy points to the running back position thus far on the season. So I think Mason's a bit of a stay away if possible. Now, A-Chain has a tremendous amount of upside as the Colts are giving up the 21st most fantasy points to the position. But then, like, we still have kind of a stalled offense with Huntley at quarterback. But that game could be really weird. Like, I could see both defenses folding in that game. I could see both defenses surprisingly showing up. Now, Deontay Johnson, I probably start out of the bunch in full PPR. Yeah. I do think A-Chain's okay this week. Mason, a stay away, but not like a player that you have to bench per se. But Deontay against the Washington Commanders secondary, giving up the 29th most fantasy points to the wide receiver position. Last I checked, let me double check for you. So last I checked, yeah, he's questionable. I mean, he's got an ankle, hamstring, and rib injury. Like, so this is Deontay Johnson for you. So keep that in mind. If he is out, then that's concerning. So you obviously can't start him if he is out. In that case, I would go A-Chain. So I would try to go in the order that you have here. Deontay, A-Chain, and Mason. All right, bottom of the chat, Devo, thank you for the super chat. Jaden Cousins or Gino? Is Jaden Daniels. Easiest answer of the night. I'm so sorry that you sent me a super chat for this. And it has to be Jaden Daniels. It's a good matchup against the Panthers. But Jaden Daniels is in that. I mean, you don't even have to think about it. You don't even need. I mean, you can keep Cousins or Gino for like the bye week or case of injury type stuff. But yeah, you got Jaden Daniels. We're starting Jaden Daniels no matter what. The Panthers giving up the 22nd most fantasy points to the quarterback position thus far in the season. But yeah, it's not even close. Don't overthink it. I mean, I will say, and I talked about this in the quarterback video, I like the game script for Cousins and Gino this week. And I do think we could see some points put up by both teams involved there. But it's not close if you got Jaden Daniels. Not close at all. Let me know if you need anything else, Devo. All right, AFC to the moon. Thank you for the super chat. I don't see any questions from you. So if you have a question, just throw it in. And I'll get to that next. Appreciate that. Roan, Kyler or Gino? Oh, this is one I want your guys' feedback. I'm a little worried about Kyler this week, and I think I might be overthinking it. Now with Marvin Harrison Jr. playing, I feel a little bit better. But yeah, I'm a little worried about my guy Kyler this week. The Chargers are giving up the 6th fewest fantasy points to the quarterback position. He had a lost fumble last week, a pick and a fumble the week before, pick the week before that. Pick in week 3, no turnovers in week 4 against Washington, but just 9.9 fantasy points against Washington. I mean, Kyler's still a top 10 quarterback in fantasy. I have a bad feeling about Kyler this week. Those of you who own Kyler, are you starting him? Are you streaming someone? Do you feel good? Do you feel bad? I don't know why. I got a weird feeling about the Cardinals offense this week, even though the Chargers are on the road here. I'll say this much. Gino's probably the floor. Kyler is still the upside play for sure. For sure. So it's close for me. Now Gino's coming off a bad game and all that, but I like this game script this week for Atlanta and Seattle. I mean, I would probably personally still take the upside of Kyler, but I just got one of those feelings. I'm not feeling great. Gino's also on the road, and the Falcons also, they're decent, 18th against the position. That doesn't really scare me, but Gino's the floor. Kyler's the upside play. Adrian, Andrews likely or Henry? I mean, I think right now I'm probably just starting Mark Andrews. 9.5 or more fantasy points in his last 2 starts. And I'm expecting points in this matchup too. So, I mean, the Bucks 16th against opposing tight ends. It's good enough. I'm expecting that to be a bit of a shootout. I think most people are. I do like Henry. I think Henry's a really strong streaming option. This is a good week to stream tight end. You got Kate Otten against the Ravens. You got Henry against the Jags. You got Ertz against the Panthers. So there are some good options in terms of streaming tight ends. But I'd probably just go with Andrews here. Is Mike Evans a game time decision? No, I think he's good to go, Ghost Hunter. He's good to go. Did I say he was a game time decision? If I did, then I read something old. He's playing. What's up, Mr. Jones? Jelly of the month, Juju or Downs with AR? Yeah, so Downs is also questionable. Last I checked. Yeah. He's got a toe injury. Miami has been like surprisingly very good against opposing wide receivers. I'm not too incredibly worried. Miami's given up the third fewest fantasy points to wide receivers, but I'm not too incredibly worried about Anthony Richardson being quarterback. I do prefer uh, our guy Joe Flacco, but Juju, on the other hand, has the better matchup, and he is also a little dinged up. How do you guys feel about that Niners Chiefs game? Are you guys expecting points? A little bit of a tighter game? Not fully decided, but yeah, hamstring injury for Juju. He's expected to play. Um, I think Downs is the floor play. Juju gives you a bit more upside. I probably prefer Downs. He's been very good. Like, there's no real reason to dislike Downs, but it's a better matchup for Juju. So, what's up, Emil? Smokey, TD Parlay, Gibbs, Kyron, Saquon, Tyreek. Could certainly hit. Start B Tom or Devonta. I mean, you can't really go wrong here. Let's go to matchup here. So Patriots 16th against position. Giants are 13th. So close to even. I Devonta Smith is the floor. B Tom's the upside, but like you can't really go wrong here. These are both still very solid starts. Brian Thomas Jr. dropped that touchdown last week. Would have had a crazy game, but I think we would be feeling better overall because it was a down game. Would have at least got you double digits if you caught that touchdown, right? So my viewpoint on Brian Thomas Jr. has basically been if you own him, you start him every week. But with Devonta Smith, I also basically feel the same way. So both are very good starts, though. Higgins, Diggs, Worthy, JMO, Rondell, Godwin. Well, you got to start Godwin. It's a great matchup. I would start Diggs. The Packers still giving up plenty of receiving yardage. Oh, man. I'd probably go Higgins, but if you want to go JMO, that's fine too. I mean, Godwin's a must start. Like, we're not even debating not starting Godwin in any way. I mean, it's a great matchup. He's been absolutely balling out, just completely outplaying his ADP. What is he? The wide receiver 1? The wide receiver 2 right now. So, yeah, Godwin. I like Diggs. And I probably go Higgins because I think the volume's better, but I really like JMO this week too. So definitely plenty of good options. All right, I'm going to answer AFC to the Moon's question at the bottom of the chat because he sent a super chat. Pick up Ridley last second with Rudolph starting over Levis. Yeah, I mean, you can, but like the Bills are giving up the 6th fewest fantasy points to the wide receiver position. Like it just depends. Like, how desperate are you for a flex start? How bad is your wide receiver core? Like, he's playable for sure, but I'm not going to go out of my way to like start Calvin Ridley, you know, over a decent flex play that you already had in, you know. So I don't know that Mason Rudolph is going to quite elevate these wide receivers to, you know, a point that we absolutely have to start Calvin Ridley or DeAndre Hopkins. So he becomes playable. But I mean, maybe he's, you know, if he's out there and available, he's worth stashing. But until we see something consistent, I don't want to be too excited here. All right, McClan, PPR, start 2 running backs of flex into super flex. Hall, Gibbs, Mixon, Mason, Kyler, Tracy, Coop, Downs, and Douglas. Oh, wow. All right, so start. Wow, this is tough. I mean, I'm still gonna put Kyler in the super flex. I'm always gonna start the quarterback in super flex format. So that's the easy part. The tough part is, do you go Hall, Gibbs, Mixon, or do you go Hall, Gibbs, and one of the wide receivers? Frankly, I'm going Hall, Gibbs, Mixon. Yeah. I mean, he got plenty of upside in Cooper. First start with the Bills. Downs a good start. I really like Pop Douglas this week. Hall, Gibbs, and Mixon could all score 20 points this week. Any week they can. I'm going with the 3 running backs and Kyler. Charlie, what's up, my guy? How we doing? How are you doing? We're just dandy. Thoughts on this trade? Happy PR. Bucky for Mooney. I don't know about the split. My team consists of Hurts, Amon-Ra, Higgins, Cook, Dobbins, McBride, Tank Dell, Tracy, Bucky, Wicks, Adunze, Juju, Brooks. It's a fair trade. Let's see. At running back, you have Cook, Dobbins, Tracy, Bucky. I mean, Brooks at some point. I feel like you need the running back depth more than you need Mooney. Amon-Ra, Higgins, Dell, Juju. It's pretty close. You can probably drop Wicks. I mean, I don't dislike the trade. I think that's a good trade. Fair trade. I think Bucky right now is leaning towards the RB1 in that backfield, but yeah, the split is going to be all over the place. I like the trade. I mean, I think Cook and Dobbins is a solid RB1, RB2 situation. So just kind of look at it and ask yourself, do you prefer the additional running back depth or the additional wide receiver depth right now? Whoa. Start Tracy or Singletary, asks Adrian. I mean, you're really flipping a coin there. Your guess is as good as mine. I prefer Tracy, but here's the thing is we don't really have any idea how this split for the Giants is going to look. You know, we haven't seen a game with, Tracy getting active touches and Singletary healthy. So that's tough. I'll take the upside in Tracy, but maybe like Singletary gets the goal line work. It's a tough call. B Tom or Pop Douglas. I'm going to start Brian Thomas Jr. Yeah, if I own B Tom, I'm going to start him. But I do think Pop Douglas is a good play this week. Slayton or Jordan Whittington? I would go Jordan Whittington. I think he's a nice sneaky start this week. I think that the Raiders actually, yeah, they're top 10 against wide receivers, but I don't want to read too much into that. Slayton becomes a little bit risky. It is a good matchup, but now we got Neighbors back. So we just got to remember the volume, the target share to Neighbors when he was healthy was ridiculous. So I think there's still, a role for Slayton here, but yeah, I think Whittington in full PPR is a very intriguing play. So I'd probably just go Whittington. Thoughts on Hurts for Baker? Should I ask for another player with Baker? I mean, Baker's been the better fantasy quarterback, but it's still early in the season. Like, Hurts is going to be great. Yeah, I mean, always ask for more and go from there. But also, it's like, yeah, if you can't get more out of the trade, I don't know that I do it. I don't know that I do it. it's just one of those things where it's like, what are you really going to accomplish here? I mean, if you prefer Jalen Hurts, then go get Jalen Hurts. That's fine too. But um, yeah, it's tough. It definitely comes down to personal preference with this one. All right, Pop Douglas or Jacobs? That's a good question, Brian. I mean, Jacobs is definitely the floor, and the upside definitely lies with Pop Douglas here. So I would probably go Pop Douglas, but I think Jacobs is completely fine. Jacobs is a good start, solid running back. You know what you're going to get. So you kind of look at your lineup, look at your matchup, and look at it that way. The Texans giving up the 8th fewest fantasy points to running backs, so I take the upside with Pop here. Armando, start who on flex? Flowers, Hunt, Bigsby, Hill. I do really like Hunt this week. He hasn't come up tonight yet, but I'm probably just sticking with Flowers. I mean, he got a good shootout game there. We're expecting points. I think the Bucks are 21st against the wide receiver position off the top of my head. I will double check. Yeah, 21st. So Tyreek Hill, very intriguing as well. Bigsby's got a good matchup. I'll start Flowers, though. Start Flowers. Brendan Mahomes or Goff? I'll go Goff. Is Ayuk a good buy low if he has another bad week? He's a perfectly fine buy low. Like, I think if he has another bad week, he's going to be at the point where like you are buying him low. Like the fantasy manager selling him doesn't even have any confidence left. Like, yeah, he's fine. But I'm sitting. This is probably a good sign for Brandon Ayuk to pop off this week because I'm sitting him in most leagues that I own him this week. So, yeah, I'll just leave it at that. Pittman or Douglas in full PPR? Yeah, I mean, I still prefer to start Pittman here. But if you don't like it due to the matchup or the fact that Anthony Richardson's starting at quarterback and you want to go in a different direction, that's fine. The Dolphins are third against the wide receiver position, and I would assume that Jalen Ramsey is going to be on Pittman most of this game. I don't quite know off the top of my head if he's shadows or not. But yeah. I think the floor is with Pittman. The upside is with Douglas. But I probably still prefer to start Pittman. It's close there. If you want the upside, take the upside, though. Otten or Fryermuth, asked Mr. Jones. So this is an interesting one. I would probably take the matchup with Cade Otten. But then, even though Fryermuth has a tougher matchup here against the Jets, he might get a little bit of a boost with Russell Wilson at quarterback. But once again, I don't think like the floor and ceiling is crazy different here. You're still hoping for a touchdown. And I don't exactly know who's going to get you that touchdown, but Otten's got the better matchup. And I think it's a better game script. Like, I would say for the most part, we probably want to start Ravens and Buccaneers players this weekend. So I'll lean Cade Otten, but of course, if Fryermuth gets a touchdown, it's going to be very close. Bigsby or Sermon, asked Barbara. This one could really go either way. I still think that Trey Sermon's very startable this weekend, but ETN is still listed as questionable. If ETN is out, then I go Tank Bigsby against the Pats for sure. I know he was a bust last week, but Sermon was a bust too. But yeah, it depends. If ETN's out, I'll go Bigsby. If not, I think both of these splits were kind of playing with fire, but it's two good matchups here. Patriots 28th against the running back position. Then the Dolphins are, I want to say, yeah, they're 31st against the position. So pick your poison here. Even better question, Sermon or Goodson? I got a weird feeling that it's going to be Sermon who has the better fantasy day, but I don't really know what I'm basing that on. Like, I talked about this in the video that went out today. Like, really, the numbers between the two, the last 2 weeks are just all over the place. Goodson, 5 targets, 4 receptions, 8 touches last week, 0 targets or catches for Sermon last week, and 18 touches. The week before, 5 touches, 3 targets, 3 receptions for Goodson, 6 targets, 6 receptions for Sermon, 10 touches on the ground, touchdown for Sermon. So, I mean, it's a great matchup here against the Dolphins. I got a weird feeling it's going to be Sermon, but once again, like you're flipping a coin here, so make sure you guys are trusting your gut. Kels, we got Godwin, Cup, Wilson, JMO, JSN, Dobbs. Nice. You got to start Godwin. Godwin, no doubt, must starter. I like JMO here, but of course I like Cup. Like if Cup is healthy and plays and you want to roll with Cooper Cup, yeah, of course, we can definitely do that. So it's probably Godwin and Cup, but if you don't feel good about the Cup situation, you could go JMO. And I'm not doubting Garrett Wilson either, but I think there's a higher ceiling here for the other players kind of mentioned here. So lots of good options. Lots of good options. All right. What's up, Tommy? Did another trade in my home league. Of course you did. Traded Watson and Allen to the Hall owner for Ladd McConkey. That's an interesting trade. I mean, to me, like Braylon Allen is a perfectly fine handcuff. But yeah, what do you know, if you don't own Breece Hall, what exactly are you getting here? Christian Watson, maybe more upside, but Ladd McConkey, certainly a nice floor play to own. So, I mean, I don't hate this. If you like it, that's fine. Derek Downs, Harrison, Singletary, Douglas, Juju, pick one. I mean, I prefer Josh Downs as long as he's healthy. If not, I'll go Marvin Harrison. Yeah, I don't act like I'm down on Marvin Harrison, but I'm a little bit down on Marvin Harrison Jr. this week. I'm just a little worried about the Cardinals offense this week against the Chargers. So it should be just Harrison, But I love Pop Douglas this week. I think Juju's still very startable. I mean, these are good options, but yeah, if Downs is healthy, I probably just prefer to go Downs. Traded Jordan Mason and Singletary for Gibbs. Hope that was a good trade. That's a great trade. Yeah, you're good, Oz. You got Gibbs. No worries. Murray or May? I mean, I think Drake May is a great streamer. Love the matchup for him. What do you have? 21 fantasy points last week against Houston. Yeah, I mean, I don't get me wrong. Really like Drake May, but I'd probably stick with Kyler here. If you want to risk it and you want to go Drake May, go for it. I'm starting Drake May in one league this week just for fun. And it's a league that I'm not doing very well in. And Caleb Williams is on bye. I've been streaming quarterback in that league. So I was like, you know what? I'm just going to start Drake May. But, I think if you still have a player that you trust for the most part, you go out and start him. Tommy's now got Jaden Daniels, Pop, Debo, Kyron, A-Chain McBride, Evans, Ladd. Bench has Juju, Tolbert, Hawkinson, Vidal, and Mason. Nice. Yeah, I think Juju's really important for this team, too. Sorry, guys. All right, we buy homes near you. Start two running backs and one flex and non-PPR. Hall, Hunt, Monty, Pollard. You got Reed, Smitty, or Deontay. Jeez. I mean, standard, I gravitate towards the running back, so I'd probably go Hall, Hunt, and Monty, but you can't really go wrong here. You can't really. I mean, I like Pollard a lot this week, too. And Reed, Smitty, and Deontay all have some touchdown upside, which is, of course, what you're looking for in, a standard scoring format. So that is a very tough question. I know Monty's got a bad matchup, but I feel like especially in standard, like you cannot bench Monty. It's a really good matchup for Pollard too. Not a great matchup for Breece Hall, but I'm not really of the belief that you bench Breece Hall. So, dang. I'll just say this much. I mean, no matter what you do, you're not making a bad start. Should I sit Burrow and Chase to start Goff and Jameson with Gibbs? No. Well, I mean, I would assume either way you're starting Chase. I mean, Goff has been very good, but Burrow's been the better quarterback on the season so far. He's a QB4, and he gets Cleveland. I mean, I do like the game script for the Lions and Vikings. Don't get me wrong, but Goff's still a QB20. He's just had 2 good games in a row. The bye week in between. I go Burrow, and you never bench Chase. Buy Waddle with Tua coming back. I mean, you certainly can, yeah. But I don't know how high the ceiling is here. He had 16 fantasy points in week 1 with Tua healthy, but that was against the Jags. So that's the problem here. It's a decent little stretch here. Cardinals, Bills, Rams, Raiders, Pats, Packers, Jets, Texans, Niners, Browns. I mean, yeah, if you can buy them at the right price, do it. Thoughts on James Cook's output? I have him starting over Hunt and Bigsby. Yeah, I would not bench James Cook if he's healthy and playing. Too much upside. It's a tough matchup. If you like a player with a better matchup, I think Hunt is okay for sure. But I have a tough time benching James Cook. Start Marvin Harrison Jr. or B Tom. I'll go Brian Thomas for the week. Don't use me as your only resource, but I personally don't feel great about the Cardinals this week. Do you think trading Mooney for Eckler one-on-one is good? I have J-Mo, Chase, and Brown. Mostert, Ramondre, and Gibbs. Yeah, I mean, you need the running back help more. It's a good trade, yeah. I mean, Eckler doesn't have a ton of upside, but it's a good trade. How are you doing in all the catch fam leagues? How am I doing? Let's look. I'm doing okay. Oops. All right. This is with Fantasy Endgame. We'll just scroll through all my leagues. So in this league, I'm number 1. And really, I'm mad. This league has a league median. That's not what I'm mad about. But what I'm mad about is in week 1, I meant to move Worthy to this wide receiver spot and then flex Monty, and I forgot. And if I had done that, I would have won, and then I'd be undefeated. But so, anyways, doing good there. Another end game league. Number 1 in this league at 5-1. This is a really interesting team because I went 0 quarterback, and I drafted Mayfield, Goff, and Darnold. And I actually drafted Russell Wilson as well, but he's been off my roster for a minute. I just picked him back up. But this is a really good example of going 0 quarterback in a super flex league and it actually working out. Baker, Bijan, Henry, Amon-Ra, Metcalf, Tucker Kraft, Cooper Kupp, Robinson, Goff, and I got Darnold, Worthy, Dowdle, other pieces hanging around. But anyways, you're asking about the catch leagues. This is a league that this is the league I'm starting Drake May in. This league I've been doing awful and just a ton of injuries. Everything that could go wrong for me in this league went wrong. C-Mac being the main reason for that. Catch league number 4, I am 3-3, sitting at number 5. This team not looking too bad. Catch league number 3, I'm also 3-3. See, at number 7, we got some work to do. A lot of 4-2 teams in this league, but this team's okay. Catch fam number 2, I'm doing pretty good. This team's 4-2. Number 3 overall. I like this team a lot. Jaden, Henry, Chuba, Worthy, Flowers, Pitts, Deontay, Addison, CeeDee Lamb on bye. Here's a home Superflex league. I'm sitting at number 1 in this league. This team pretty stacked, but I have some injuries. I got Collins. I only have 1 IR spot. I got Pacheco and Collins hurt here. Catch league number 1, I'm 4-2. Play Steven this week, a big matchup. He's number 2. I'm number 5. A lot of 4-2 teams in this league. This team's looking pretty good. J-Lo, Barkley, Hunt, Scary, Terry, Metcalf, Hunter Henry, Wilson, Dell. Got Goddard out. Pop Douglas, Watson, Worthy, Madison. Got a good shot there. The Catch Fam Auction League, I feel like this team should be doing way better. It's 3-3. I'm number 4, but Kyler, Bijan, Henry, Devonta, Debo, Ertz, J-Mo, Monty, Prescott, Hunt, Robinson, Pop Douglas, Ferguson. I feel like that's a super solid team. Catch Fam Superflex League. I feel like this team, I'm sitting at number 7 at 3-3, but I drafted Jaden Daniels and Anthony Richardson, and I thought that was going to be huge after week 1. I was like, oh, let's go. Let's go. And then AR came back to life, right? So this team's still very good, but I also have a hole at RB2. That was the other thing is Pacheco got hurt. I guess Chubb coming back might help me, but yeah. That's a home. This is my worst team. This team is just riddled with everyone on this team is getting hurt, and the Dolphins offense. I've had so many injuries on this team. It's not even funny. The dynasty leagues very quickly. Let's see. I'm sitting at 3-3, number 6. 4-2. I'm going for wins in all the dynasty leagues. 4-2 at number 4. Mr. Rogers Summer Camp, my favorite team, number 4 at 4-2. And then in the other Super Flex League, I'm at 4-2 and number 5 overall. So I'm doing okay. There's my breakdown of all my fantasy teams. And I'm in a 16-man league on Yahoo as well. That I'm doing awful in. I'm doing okay. All right, sorry, that took up a lot of time. All right, Ghost Hunter, assuming health for all. Half PPR, need 3 wide receivers in a flex. Hill, Evans, T, Godwin, Jones, Bigsby, and Chubb. I'm going to go Godwin, Evans, Hill, and T. Higgins. Yeah. Yeah. That should be pretty solid. Hill, Evans, T, Godwin. Yeah. It's weird watching Washington being excited. Yeah, for sure. I feel like every Washington fan is very cautiously optimistic still. We've been through this before, right? Mike, who'd you start in the flex? Monty, Ayuk, B Tom, or JMO? Most weeks I'd probably just start Monty. But it's a tough matchup this week. So I'd probably go B Tom. I mean, the good news is you have great matchups no matter, or great players here no matter what. I like JMO a lot this week too. I'll probably go B Tom, but yeah, I think most weeks, like I'd be happy just to flex Monty. It's just a tough matchup. I still really like Monty this week. Very close calls here, though. Dobbs or Whittington? Whittington for a floor, Dobbs for upside, but risk. Yeah, you can drop Wicks. We're at that point. Smokey, 4 wide receivers, MH, Neighbors, Godwin, and T. Can only play 3. So thinking to sit Marvin Harrison Jr. Yeah, I'm good at that. Tough matchup. I'm good at that. Njoku or Andrews? Derek, I'll lean Andrews here. Njoku or Schultz? I'd probably lean Njoku. I just don't know if Schultz is really going to get what we think he's going to get. It is a great matchup for Schultz. It's also a good matchup for Njoku. The Packers are 27th against tight ends. The Bengals are 26. I'll lean Njoku, but you're flipping a coin here. Running backs you're willing to trade Mooney straight up for? I mean, Mooney is still a very volatile flex wide receiver, so it really just depends on, like, I would take Rico Dowdle. I don't think you'd get Brian Robinson, but I take Brian Robinson. I don't think you'd get Tony Pollard, but I take Tony Pollard. I'd probably take Ramondre Stevenson. I think he's a good buy low coming off of the injury. Great matchup this week. I definitely take James Conner. I don't know that you'll get James Conner, but I would take him. It's really good. I would take Chase Brown. Really depends on what you can get back here. But yeah, I mean, Mooney's still a volatile flex wide receiver. So, JMO or JSN? JMO for me. I like JSN this week, but JMO for sure. Jada's a stud here, but what if probably a shootout in Atlanta? I'm overthinking it. Nah, I mean, I don't think you're. I mean, you're kind of overthinking it because yeah, it's Jaden Daniels. Like, I mean, you've got what, the QB2 in fantasy. He's dropped to the QB3. Baker's QB2. Lamar's QB1. But yeah, you gotta go Jaden Daniels. Now, I agree with what you're saying. I think we'll probably get a little bit of a shootout there with the Falcons and Hawks, but it's a great matchup for Jaden Daniels this week. Like if he was playing, like the Jets or something, and it was a bad matchup, or the Vikings or whatever, like that's one thing, but yeah. Pick up Ridley last second with Rudolph. Oh, we got this earlier. Is the Bills defense still a good option? Yes, they're still a good option, but their upside is lowered a tad bit here, but still a good option. Thinking about sending an offer for Mixon, Mooney, Andrews, and Mostert. Yeah, if you can get that done, I would take it for sure. I don't know that you'll get it done though. Tommy, hurting at running back. Do I go with Bucky, Tracy, Algier, Gibson, or Goodson? I will go Bucky Irving in this circumstance, but Tracy's okay too. PPR flex. Do I start JMO, St. Brown in my lineup, or go Lockett, Watson, or Pop? I mean, I do like Pop if you wanted to diversify, but I would probably just stick with JMO because I think he's the best play. I wouldn't overthink the fact that I also have Amon Ra, but I get it. Pollard, Stevenson, or Bigsby. I'm going to go Pollard. It's a great matchup. He's been fantastic. I do like Stevenson a lot. I think Bigsby's good, but I will go Pollard. Debo, Deontay, or Addison. Need two. I think Addison is a good sneaky play this week. But I'll go Deontay Johnson and Debo. Now, Deontay might be out, and that might answer your question here. But, yeah, I would go Debo and Deontay. I kind of am of the belief that if I own Debo, I just start Debo every week. You know, I just take what I get. So. Start Brian Robinson or James Conner. Brian Robinson. Now, if Brian Robinson doesn't play, then obviously you're going to go Conner. But it's a much tougher matchup for Conner. You know, the Chargers very good against the run. The Panthers very, very bad against the run. So Brian Robinson is in that must start category for sure. Is Ayuk worth buying, even at buying low? I mean, I'm pretty much on the fence with Ayuk right now. Like, it depends on what you give up. You know, like let's say Debo gets hurt, then Ayuk has a lot more value. Jennings is banged up. I mean, Ricky Pearsall's coming back. See how that impacts things, but and Kittle's getting a ton of volume. So, like the problem is if you trade for Ayuk, when are you really going to be confident in starting Ayuk? You know. Dub Nation, Dobbins, Connor, Mason Stevenson, Etienne, or Bigsby need two. Dobbins for sure. And I'll go Stevenson against the pass. That defense is getting torched right now. Addison, Worthy, Jason. Which one should I start? And should I start two of these guys and sub one for Connor? I would start Addison against the Lions. It's a good matchup. Should get some good, good amount of points scored in that game. The next one's really up to you. I mean, once again, it's not a great matchup for Connor. Chargers giving up the third fewest points to the running back position. In full PPR, I'd probably go like Worthy and Addison. I like Worthy this week. I think he's a little sneaky. But JSN's okay there too. Do you prefer Sermon to Goodson? Yeah, like I said earlier, I mean, I have a weird feeling that Sermon is going to be the better play, but I am basing that on nothing. Like, it's a complete coin flip. Complete coin flip. So, Lucas, what's up, my guy? For flex, JSN, Raheem, Kirk, Xavier Worthy. I mean, I'd probably go Christian Kirk, but Worthy's a nice play. JSN, if you like him, is fine here. I don't go Raheem Mostert. I definitely go with one of the wide receivers here. I think Kirk is actually my favorite. I have an offer after Monday Night Football. Rodgers, Watson, and Bigsby for Allen, Chase, and Singletary. If Bigsby and Watson for Josh Allen, Jamar Chase, or Chase Brown. I mean, either way, whether I mean, if it's Jamar Chase, wow, it is Jamar Chase. I was expecting you to say Chase Brown. I was gonna say even if it's Chase Brown, it's still a pretty good trade. If you're getting Allen and Chase, then take this right away. That's more than a steal. That's highway robbery. Easily. If you're getting Chase. Or you said Drake London? Oh, he's new to fantasy football. I can tell. I mean, even with Drake London, that's a great trade. I mean, Jamar Chase is like, I mean, that might get vetoed. Drake London is the wide receiver 6. Chase is the wide receiver 1. Yeah, I would take that in a heartbeat still. I'd rather have Allen than Rodgers. I'd way rather have London than Watson. Singletary, Bigsby. Oh, well. That's fine. Chupa Cup, Wilson, Jason, Dobbs, pick 1 for the flex. Godwin and J-Mo, nice. How do we bench Chuba right now? I probably just go Chuba. I mean, I think Cup's a good start. I think Wilson is still a very good start. How are we benching Chuba against a bottom 12 run defense? I'm just going to go Chuba. I'm also starting Devontae. Should I watch him out? I think Devontae Adams is fine to start. Devontae Adams, Amari Cooper, Garrett Wilson, all are fine to start. Chase Brown, Bigsby, Tracy. I'll go Chase Brown. Clearest path there. Garrett Wilson, Cup, Tracy, Juju. Pick 1 in the flex. It's Garrett Wilson for me, but Cup's a very strong play here too. And Juju's still good, but yeah. I'm in on Garrett Wilson still. Cup has a better matchup if you want Cup. Will Barkley explode versus the Giants? I do like Barkley this week. I like the revenge game script for Saquon Barkley. But, I mean, he's been great every single week other than last week. So, yeah, I got no problem whatsoever. I mean, if you own Barkley, there's no way that you're not starting Barkley, right? Doesn't really matter who he's playing, right? So yeah, I like the game script here, but see what happens. GT Sport, B. Tom, Dell, Gibbs, or Jacobs? Brian Thomas and Gibbs, but I think Dell is probably set for another big week. But yeah, Gibbs and B. Tom. Haven't after. Oh, we got this one earlier, just a minute ago. Jimbo, what's up, bro? Allen or Lamar? Lamar for sure. I mean, trust me, I'm all for Allen, and the Bills tend to kind of pick up steam and everything. Yeah, I mean, I still really like Josh Allen. He's got a new shiny toy as well. But I'm gonna go Lamar. I mean, Lamar's just been so good, so good. So yeah, give me Lamar. So in order for that trade to get done, you have to go, or Watson and Bigsby have to have big games, is what you're saying? Kiki go Moo Moo. GT Sport Mooney, Juju, Lockett, pick 1. I'd probably just go Mooney, but if you want to go Juju, he's fine as well. Lockett can always do something, but I like Mooney this week. Downs or Bigsby? I'd rather start Downs. Oz, I got Njoku, Andrews, and Hawk. I'm thinking of packaging them with Mooney for a running back. Yeah, if you can get it done, you really only need. I mean, we don't know when Hawkinson's going to play technically, but you really theoretically only need one tight end here. Kiki, yes, I said Downs. See you at the bottom of the chat. Downs. Sorry, guys. Drop Richardson for Goff. I have Williams on the bench. I mean, I'll say this much. I think you can certainly make it through the whole season with Goff and Caleb Williams and no Anthony Richardson. So if you want to, but I still don't think it's all over for Anthony Richardson this season. The ceiling on the year is still what, 27 fantasy points in week 1 or whatever it was. Like, yeah, 27 points. I don't know. I think he's still gonna have some games. But yeah, if you just want to roll with Goff and Caleb, that's fine. Start Chubb or Bigsby. I'd probably start Bigsby. I think Chubb is startable, but like I don't want to go out of our way to start Nick Chubb in his first game back from an incredibly major injury. So, I will say Bigsby, but also if ETN does play and is not held out due to the hamstring injury, then that makes us more confident in Bigsby. If ETN does play, then maybe you want to risk Chubb, but I think you only play Chubb if you're like absolutely desperate. Henry for A-Chain looking great for you in League 2. Yes, that was a good trade thus far on the season. We shall see. There's still time, I suppose. Neighbors and Godwin carrying me. Yeah, those two. It's a scary combo. Calcaterra or Kraft. I'm going to go Kraft. I don't know if I'm ready to trust Grant Calcaterra, but he is a streamable option. But I think if you got a guy like Kraft, you just roll Kraft. Should be a high-scoring game. Savvy Edits, what's up? Ramondre, Amari, Addison, Downs. I really like Ramondre this week. I mean, this is such a good matchup. But if you want to go Amari Cooper, that's fine. I think Addison and Downs are good starts too. Tough choice. Would you trade B-Tom and Hunt for Adams? No. I mean, Hunt is a RB2 that you can just ride until Pacheco's back. And he's got a pretty good schedule. And Brian Thomas Jr. is a weekly starter who probably has the same value as Adams. So I'll say no. Deontay or Gibbs in the flex. I mean, I generally prefer the wide receiver, and it's a great matchup, but I'm going to go Gibbs. Like, Gibbs is just in that category of players that, like, if I own Gibbs, I'm starting him. Mega Brick, full PPR start 1. We got Pittman, Judy, or Tracy. I mean, I probably just go Juju here. Pittman's okay too. Ghost Hunter, we got Kyler, Goof, the Goofster, Darnold, and May. I'm probably just rolling Goof and Darnold and give me the game script here, but if you want to go May over one of them, that's okay too. Can't believe I'm saying that. Like, not even mentioning Kyler here. I mean, just bear in mind this is going to be really close. Really close. Mo Diesel, we got a bench 1. Half PPR. Shakir, Kirk, Judy, Trey Tucker. I'm probably going to bench Trey Tucker. Like, I think Trey Tucker is an okay desperation play due to the matchup, but he seemed to have a little bit better chemistry with Gardner Minshew as opposed to Aiden O'Connell. And it is a good matchup, but I'm a little worried. The Rams are giving up the 24th most fantasy points to the position, so I think I just go Judy, and then I'd start Shakir and Kirk. but that's a tough call. Purdy or Mahomes? I'll probably stick with Purdy just because he's been the better fantasy quarterback on the season. That's a tough matchup to take a look at. All right, so we got this one earlier. Gonna roll downs. Sorry, guys. Still getting over being sick all week. If no Walker tomorrow, asks Kill Kenny, Charbonnet or Sermon? Ooh, that's a good question. I'd probably go Charbonnet because we know what to expect in terms of the volume. And we are expecting points in that matchup between the Falcons and the Hawks. So, yeah, I'll go Charbs, but only if Walker's out. Question of the night: Dobbs or Watson? I mean, we're flipping a coin here. Your guess as good as mine. I mean, the Packers wide receivers just so incredibly volatile. I would say Dobbs is the floor. Watson is the upside play with a bit more risk, but very, very, very close. Very close. This is a true coin flip decision. Mooney for Hill, I would probably do that trade especially if like you're in a good spot, like you've won 4+ games, or maybe you're 3-3, but like you've had a couple of close games and like you're scoring a lot of points. I would do this trade. All right. Andrews for Bigsby. Yeah, if you can get that done, that's fine. But just keep in mind, I mean, we still have the problem right now with Tank Bigsby or Bucky Irving is like the Jaguars and the Buccaneers running back rooms. They're still running back by committee teams, so just be careful with it. Kyler or Drake May and Juju or Pickens. Dang. We've gotten a lot of Kyler / Drake May questions tonight. Kyler's the floor. Drake May is the upside play. I'll go Juju over Pickens. I don't like this matchup for Pickens this week. I don't know for sure, but apparently Pickens has been pretty good against the Jets in his career. I guess I could just check. At least that's okay. He played them once in his career in week 4 of his rookie season and had 16 fantasy points. I don't think I want to read too much into that. He also definitely had a big catch in that game because his yards per catch were at 17. Once again, I just don't like this matchup. We'll see what happens. Oh, Tony Pollard or B-Rob? I'm playing B-Rob if he plays, but Tony Pollard's got a great matchup. I mean, these are the two teams giving up the most fantasy points to the running back position, so you can't really go wrong, but I prefer B-Rob. Evans or Flowers, asks the Smitty. Yeah, don't worry about who your opponent has, but it is Evans. It is still Mike Evans here. Yeah. Ravens giving up the most fantasy points to the wide receiver position, so both have great matchups this week. Give me Evans. Orac, what's up, bro? Andrea, hello. All right, Orac, full PPR. Start one wide receiver and a flex. Kirk, Waddle, Lockett, Leggett, D-Hop, ETN, Singletary, Tucker. Give me Kirk. Ooh, I think Leggett could be really sneaky this week, especially if Deontay doesn't play. Like, then I'm a little worried about the offense, but still, it's a great matchup. I'd probably go Lockett and Kirk, but you want to get risky, throw Leggett in there. No problem, Kiki. Happy to help you guys. Andrea, we got B. Rob Adams, Brian Thomas. Whoo. These are all great starts, Andrea. But if Brian Robinson Jr. plays, I am playing him in every lineup that I can. But if you just want to go Brian Thomas Jr., that's okay too. Just picked up Adam Thielen, threw him on my IR just in case. Potential Deontay Johnson trade. That's fine. Even if Deontay doesn't get traded, he could still have a nice role. Potentially. Who do you like out of Hill, A-Chain, Pop, JSN, and Tank? Need two. What's up, A-Game? I mean, I'm tempted just to go Tyreek and A-Chain, but I'm still worried about their offense. So, oh, you got Tank Dell too? Tank Bigsby or Tank Dell? I'm assuming it's Tank Bigsby. If it's Tank Dell, I just go for the upside and go Dell and Douglas. But if not, I'll probably go Hill and Douglas. Or you could go A-Chain and Douglas if you like the run game for the Dolphins in theory more than the pass game, which the matchup does benefit the run game more than the pass game. Would you trade Kamara for Kyron? I think it's pretty much a wash here. It depends on which player you like more. And I mean, right now, for the next week or two, it's probably Kyron because Carr's out. Do you think Stevenson will take away receptions from Pop? Nah, he'll be fine. He doesn't really need a ton of receptions either. I mean, he had 6 grabs last week. He'll be okay. They're going to throw more with Drake May at quarterback. That's the good news. Will Pacheco even have a shot at coming back soon? Yes. Let's see. Let's see if we have any update or blurb or anything. I mean, okay, no update, but yeah. He's definitely like, don't drop Pacheco if you own him. You gotta. I know it sucks, but you gotta keep him on IR. Is Hurts a confident start this week? Giants are pretty decent. Yeah, I mean the Giants defense is good, but I mean Hurts is Hurts. You just gotta take what you get. You just gotta take what you get. You know. He had 21 fantasy points against the Browns. He's a QB 15. Yeah, I mean this is such a nice stretch, though. I mean, I know the Giants defense is good, but I think it's the Bengals, the Jaguars, the Cowboys, the Commanders, the Rams, the Ravens, the Panthers. Steelers is tough, but then the Commanders again, then the Cowboys in the fantasy championship. Like Jalen Hurts, a very good quarterback to have right now. So we got this one earlier. Would you play Jalen Warren over White? I mean, White might not even play, so White's definitely lost his starting job, but he's still going to get touches. I mean, Jalen Warren's barely getting any touches. It's not like he has a bad matchup, but he also doesn't have particularly a great matchup. I don't think either is really a strong start. Start AR or May. Man, Drake May coming through. May for a floor. AR for upside but risk. Jeez. Would you hold Roshan Johnson or drop him? Hill, Foreman with Ford out now. It really comes down to personal preference. I'm not chasing Donta Foreman, though. Is that Taysom Hill? I'd probably just hold Roshan Johnson. Adventures from the Queue. Worthy, Jason, Douglas, Ayuk. I would probably just take the upside here and go Worthy and pop Douglas. But Ayuk can always. Ooh, geez. Ayuk can always pop. I'm out on Ayuk this week, which means that he's probably going to have a good game, is how it goes, right? Heisman, you hoes. Need one for flex, JSN, Lad, Downs, or Tracy. I probably just go Downs. I mean, I'm still in on Downs, so that'd probably be my start. Rudolph's a quarterback. Would you start D-Hop? I mean, no. You can, but like, who are you benching DeAndre Hopkins for is the real question. Sports Spotlight. Start one. Parkinson, Ertz, or Conklin? Ertz. I love Ertz's matchup this week. Solid start. Go Ertz against the Panthers. Rams or Bengals? We got this one earlier. I'll lean the Rams by a hair, but they both have risk to a degree. I'll probably go the Rams. Pick 2. Pittman, Brown, Ladd, or Ridley. I'll go Pittman and Chase Brown. All right, I think I can go Chase Brown and Ladd McConkey if you're worried about the Colts and Anthony Richardson and all that stuff. So probably Chase Brown and Ladd. Good matchup for Ladd. Is Noah Brown approaching wide receiver 2 territory in Washington's offense? I mean, I don't think so. Unfortunately, I want somebody to be approaching that territory. But yeah, I mean, he had 8 targets last week. 4 targets in weeks 2, 3, and 4. Didn't play in week 5. I mean, maybe not. It's tough to tell. I mean, Brown has done next to nothing in this offense. He had a touchdown in week 5. Zacchaeus has done next to nothing, had a nice week 4. Luke McCaffrey is somewhere on this team. It's really like Terry McLaurin, Austin Eckler, Zach Ertz. So, maybe. Would you trade B-Rob for DK? I have JT, Eckler, Swift, and Tracy. I mean, I'm very high on Brian Robinson personally. So probably not, but I think this is a good trade at the same time. Like this is a good swap here. And I think right now is a good time to buy DK Metcalf. So I think you can get by with these running backs, but I'd rather have, especially with JT being banged up, I'd rather have a healthy Brian Robinson. But it's not a bad trade if you like it. Pick 3 flexes and full PPR. Reed, Ladd, Juju, Mostert, Sermon, Palmer. Jaden Reed for sure. And probably Ladd McConkey, but if you want to go Juju, that's okay too. But Jaden Reed for sure. 8 targets equals wide receiver 2. I mean, maybe. Like, there's no consistent pattern here, though, is the thing. And last week was like a play from behind game. The Ravens secondary has been really bad. Excuse me. Sorry, guys. So maybe, but yeah, I don't want to say for sure. It's another good matchup this week, then 2 tough matchups against the Bears and the Giants, and then Pittsburgh, another tough matchup. So we should probably find out, but I'm not going to get too excited yet. Dalton, week 7 lineup. We got Purdy, Terry, Mike Evans, Monty, Pollard, Njoku, Douglas. Should I have J-Mo or Tyrone Tracy in the flex? I mean, I really like Pop Douglas this week, but I'd also really consider starting Jameson Williams, who I also really like this week. But J-Mo's like the wide receiver 15. Like you're not gonna, you still start Terry and Mike Evans. Very close here. Very close. I think Pop's a great play, but J-Mo's just a really tough player for me to bench. I mean, either way, you got a really good lineup here. So you go Reed, Ladd, and Juju. 3 flex spots, super flex, 11 teams. What? Yeah, I like those three guys. Yeah. Out of your options, yeah, for sure. Oh my gosh. Pete's here.
I'm here.
What's up, bro?
Hello. Uh, you know, I'm having a day, having a night.
Pete had a
A pipe.
busted pipe.
Yeah,
Pipe burst.
and we saw it this morning, and we kind of ignored it because we weren't 100% sure if it was a busted pipe, and then found it, tonight at 5:30, 6 o'clock, and yeah, fun times, fun times. No water, but hey, I'm here. Let's do it. What are we talking about? What's going on?
No water is the worst feeling.
Yeah, no water till Monday. I guess I can go back and turn it back on at night, or not at night, with like in the morning if we want to go take a shower tomorrow morning. But other than that,
No shower.
yeah, awful.
We're talking week 7 fantasy football. We actually just got to the bottom of the chat, so
Oh, nice.
but
Just here in time for it to end. Perfect.
we will hang out for a bit more. And let's see. In terms of week 7,
Nothing
there's
interesting. Everybody's dead.
plenty interesting. Let me ask you this question.
Yeah, go ahead.
We'll ask you a couple questions. Start.
That's good.
Start the Pete segment here. Give the stream some life. How do you feel about Drake May as a start this week against the Jaguars?
Absolutely not.
Really?
No shot. I can't start a rookie quarterback. Like, okay, upside 2 touchdowns, maybe 3 touchdowns, but I mean, we're gonna see turnovers. It's just Patriots are so bad. It has to be an emergency. There's so many better quarterbacks out there.
Would you start Kyler against the Chargers or Drake May against the Jets?
I'd start Kyler because he's a POS, and at this point he'll do something good because everybody's been hating on him all week.
Yeah, I'm worried about the Cardinals. I mean, Marvin Harrison Jr. is going to play, but it feels like a bad matchup for their offense.
There's been so much negative stuff about the Cardinals this week that it feels like they're going to be good. I think I'm zigging.
Nice.
While everybody's going the other way. But I agree. On paper, it's an awful matchup. I love the Chargers defense. I think the Chargers are a really good team.
Bills defense. How do we like them now with Mason Rudolph at quarterback?
They're getting cooked. Titans are going to run the ball. Titans are going to run the ball all over them.
Yeah. Their upside certainly goes down.
Well, no turnovers, yeah. I mean, maybe a turnover. Will Levis was guaranteed 2 turnovers for you.
Yeah, I think they go from a great start to a solid.
Yeah, you can start them. It's fine. It's still the Titans' offense.
Seahawks Falcons shootout?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, I do too.
Geno's like leading the league in pass attempts, I think.
Yeah, he's had like 48 plus in the last 3 games, something crazy.
Yeah.
Lions Vikings. What are we gonna get in this game?
I think it's gonna be a super high scoring game.
Really?
Or the Vikings are getting blown out. I think the Lions are gonna move the ball at will.
Yeah. I just had that feeling too that like the Lions offensive line versus the Vikings front 7 is just like the perfect match. And then both teams are going to be forced to throw the football, and both secondaries are going to bend.
Yeah, we can't get pressure with 4. And if Goff has the numbers are, if Goff has over 2.5 seconds to throw the ball, he's just lights out.
Yeah, I think it's gonna be a great game though.
It'll be fun. I'm sure it'll be fun.
Are we starting Dolphins players this week? It's a great matchup.
I'll start A-Chain. Yeah, I'd start A-Chain. I'm kind of hesitant. I mean, you kind of have to start Tyreek, I guess, kind of, but I'm okay with starting A-Chain. It is a good matchup for him, definitely.
Tua back next week.
That's what I heard.
Let's go.
Tua.
Texans Packers.
Good game.
Yeah.
Good game. Yes. Let's see how real. I don't think we've talked about this. Packers defense is not good. Packers defense is bad against good teams offensively. I think we'll have a lot of points scored.
Yeah, and the Texans, like, they're another team where their defense feels like it's been pretty good, but similar to the Packers, they've given up a lot of total yardage.
Mm-hmm.
mean, the Texans were like still getting kind of diced up by Drake May last week, even if it was kind of pointless. But yeah, I mean, how did we get the Jets Steelers Sunday night when we have Texans, Packers, Seahawks, Falcons, Chiefs, Niners, Lions, Vikings?
Because the Steelers are still a big draw, no matter what. The
That's
Steelers
true.
bring in, and everyone thought the Jets were going to be good.
And I actually I think it's going to be interesting to watch Devontae Adams and then Russell Wilson. Like we have two storylines is what the NFL has cultivated this week somehow in that game that should otherwise be kind of gross. But
a snoozer.
What else we got? What here's the weirdest game of the week for me is the Raiders and Rams.
Yeah.
I think that game could be like 9-2 or like 35-30. Like,
yeah, both defenses are. I mean, both defenses are kind of bad. Like the Rams defense is bad, but the Raiders aren't bad against the pass. Like they're really good against receivers.
Yeah.
But I don't know. They already traded Devontae. Antonio Pierce feels like a bad head coach.
Myers is hurt.
This is a weird game. Yeah. Sean McVay off a bye, like the Rams should score 35 points. Cooper Kupp's back, even if he's limited. Yeah. Like run the ball.
Yeah, Kyron should have a big day at the very least. Chiefs Niners. I'm kind of torn on this game though.
I think it's low scoring. I think it's a low scoring game.
Yeah. I feel like the Chiefs match up very well against the Niners right now. I have a feeling Brandon Ayuk's going to have a good game just because.
Really? Okay, I'm sitting Brandon Ayuk for Chase Brown.
I'm sitting him too, is why I think he's going to have a good game. Just
okay. As soon as you said I'm like, Chase Brown, much better matchup. I don't need the wide receiver help. I'm going to play J-Mo against the Vikings. Like, okay, let's just throw another running back in there.
No, I would totally start Chase Brown and J-Mo this week. I've already said that throughout the whole stream. As soon as we bench Ayuk, he's going to go off,
Fair.
Maybe the best game of the week though, Ravens Bucks. There's got to be points, right?
Yeah, Mike Evans is playing too. Like he's off the injury report, so Mike Evans is good to go. Even though they were like, kind of like, is he gonna play? He's gonna play. He was off the report today, so yeah, they're gonna score some points.
Evans gonna have a huge week. This Ravens secondary giving up the most fancy points to the wide receiver position. I know we talked about it. They've faced
insane quarterbacks, but still Baker's a great quarterback when he wants to be.
That's the thing is like Baker's still a good quarterback, so I think that's going to change. Then we end with the Chargers Cardinals. That could be a really weird game.
Like my dad's like, nobody wants to watch that game. I'm like, I want to watch that game. I think I like watching the Chargers.
Yeah, and I want to see like we haven't got a Cardinals primetime game, so I mean this is a huge game for the Cardinals. Like if they lose this game, the season like could be over. They're just in such a weird place. Great matchup for Dobbins, great matchup for Ladd McConkey, so.
Yeah, Cardinals defense is just bad.
Yeah. Other than that, you got some pretty heavy favorites. Bengals over the Browns. I guess Eagles-Giants is not really a...
Nick Sirianni's getting fired if the Eagles lose that game. Like, that's a must-win for him.
They might lose, too.
They definitely... Malik Neighbors is good to go. Singletary's good to go. Tracy's going to get a lot of touches too, they said. The defense... Now, they lost Andrew Thomas. They lose their left tackle. Their D-line's pretty banged up. That could kind of...
Yeah, I could see the Eagles winning this game for sure. And I could see the Giants winning this game as well. But Commanders, Panthers, I think everyone's leaning Commanders here.
Why are the Panthers in the late window for 2 weeks in a row on the East Coast? Like, get them out of there. We don't need to see the Panthers play in the late window.
I know. Now, I will say, they do match up pretty well against this Commanders defense for what it's worth. So, there's a shot.
They're just so bad offense. Like, they're so bad. They are bad. Like, Chuba, play Deontay Johnson, play Chuba, maybe get some points. Commanders defense is getting better. It may not be as bad as we think it is. They weren't great against the Ravens, but that's also like maybe the top 2-3 offenses in football with the Ravens.
Yeah, I had them as like a sneaky, desperate stream no one has liked that option this week, which is fine.
There's a lot of options out there usually.
Yeah. So, but yeah, it should be a good week. We'll see what happens here. All right, let's fly through some questions here. All right, we got to cut one player: Noah Brown, Josh Palmer, or Hardman. I mean, you could really cut any of these players. I've seen more and more people picking up Palmer
Because he's coming. Yeah, he's coming back.
But he played last week. But is it just because Quentin Johnston? Okay, Johnston's doubtful, and then Ladd is questionable.
Okay. And Palmer had been out, so you got to work your way back into.
That's true.
And we like Palmer going into the season.
Yeah, I'd cut Hardman here. Like, you're never actually going to start Hardman, and Juju's taking the volume anyways. So, yeah, let's cut Hardman. Kyle, what's up, bro? I go Jordan Love over Cousins here. Then Dobbs, Shakir, Chubb in the flex. I don't think I'm starting Nick Chubb right out the gate unless
I have him. I'm holding him this week.
Yeah. Feels good to get him back, but
it does because I could just rotate Puka Nacua or Nico Collins while other guys I had on the IR on my bench.
Yeah. Freeing up an IR spot is huge right now, to say the least.
Especially I'm in a 1 IR.
Yeah.
1 IR league on ESPN.
I'm in a 4 bench 1 IR league where I have Collins and Pacheco. Like, come on.
Yikes. We have no IR in my guillotine league. It's a 5 bench no IR. So it's like, really tough.
I feel like this year has been necessary when it comes to multiple IR spots.
Yeah.
I'll go Love, and I'll just go Dobbs for the upside, but Shakir is probably okay. But like, I'm probably not. I want to kind of see the split for the Bills wide receivers this week, but I think Shakir will be okay. Kyle says, smash the like button. Smash it. Do it. Ooh, Mason Rudolph or Aiden O'Connell rest the season in a 14-team superflex. Mason Rudolph, I guess.
Is Mason going to be the starter the rest of the year? Like, yeah, if he could be. The smart thing is to bench Will Levis forever.
Yeah. I mean, jeez. Let me take a look. So Rudolph will get Buffalo, Detroit, New England, the Chargers. That feels like a pretty bad stretch. Minnesota, that's not helpful. Houston, probably not helpful. Washington, Jacksonville, Cincy, Indy, Jacksonville. That's a nice stretch at the end of the season, but is it going to be Levis or Rudolph at that point? That's a problem. Aiden O'Connell. It's Rams, Kansas City, Cincy, a bye week, Miami, Denver, Kansas City, Tampa Bay, Atlanta, Jacksonville, New Orleans. That's an okay schedule.
I think, with the Titans, their defense isn't bad. Like, their defense is probably top 15, maybe top 10. And they can run the football, so they're not going to get slogged down. Like, the Raiders can't do anything, it feels like, offensively, and the defense isn't very good. So, like, maybe you're hoping on garbage points for Aiden O'Connell, but I feel like Mason, like, the Titans might score some points with him.
Yeah, and I would at least risk Mason Rudolph due to that playoff schedule. I mean, he might not be the guy there, but if he is, then you at least can feel good once you get to, those weeks where he's playing Jacksonville.
Especially in a super flex. Like, he's obviously your super flex player.
Yeah. Chandler, trade Henry for JJ and Pollard. Really depends on the rest of your roster, your record, everything. But I don't know that I'm trading Derrick Henry. I mean, it's close. You're getting JJ in return, and Pollard's been great. So you're getting the wide receiver 5 and Pollard. Like, it's not bad. And Pollard has a great playoff schedule. In weeks 14 through 17, I mean, really weeks 13 through 17, Washington, Jacksonville, Cincy, Indianapolis, Jacksonville. But like, yeah, Derrick Henry might outscore everyone in fantasy this year. You know,
we said was like 15 touchdowns. I think it was like plus 700 or something before the season. 15 touchdowns on the year feels like a lock at this point.
Yeah, I mean, he's like the Raheem Mostert, Christian McCaffrey of last year. Like, you know, his touchdown line every week should be like negative 300, and they just, you know.
I'm so mad. I have 0 Henry shares, and we talked about it all off season. We were all in on Henry. Like, this is going to be an awesome offense. And I don't have any Derrick Henry. Sad day.
It happens.
Too
really
much Pacheco. Too much Pacheco shares.
Man, I miss Pacheco already. We got to see a full roster. Too big of a trade to not break it all down. Does Pete like Demario Douglas tomorrow against the Jags?
Yeah, the Jags' pass defense is really bad, and it seems like May kind of likes him. Yeah. I wouldn't be surprised if Jalen Polk has like a weird good game, even though he's been kind of weird bad. I would say Patriot fans would say he's been bad this season. I think there's going to be points in that game.
Sure.
Ramondre's playing. Who knows? Ramondre's just going to poach everything.
I do like Ramondre, and I like Pop tomorrow. And I think Henry for a tight end.
Yeah, I like it. I'm starting Henry as a stream this week.
I am starting Drake May in 1 week.
Okay. Yeah. I mean, you know this thing. He could have. It's going to be like 3 touchdowns, 2 picks, or like 2 touchdowns, 2 picks, probably with Drake May.
I'm risking it.
Yeah, that's fine.
Recovery. Who should I start at wide receiver 2? Mooney, J-Mo, or B Tom? I'm probably just starting B Tom if I own him. But I like Jameson Williams a lot, and Mooney's good.
If you want huge upside, play J-Mo. He could have easily could get a 70-yard touchdown tomorrow.
Yeah. Hard for me to bench B Tom though. But J-Mo's like the wide receiver 15. He's been great. Robinson or Pollard. If Robinson plays, you have to start him against Carolina. But Pollard is in another smash spot. So if B-Rob does not play, then Pollard's a very, very good start. Nick, we got Tank Dell, MH Jr., Devonta Smith. I mean, I never benched Devonta Smith. It's just how I feel about it. But Tank Dell is a good start for sure. And I'm a little down on Marvin Harrison Jr., but it depends on the situation.
Too bad he plays on Monday. Otherwise, he'd make the panic video probably.
Yeah, I think he might have a bad game against the Chargers. But when you have options like Devonta Smith, like you just roll with Devonta Smith. Thoughts on me trading away Amon-Ra, Kyron, Debo Ingram, Aaron Jones for Hill, A-Chain, Higgins, Gibbs, and Hawkinson. So Amon-Ra versus Hill. I still prefer Amon-Ra. Kyron over A-Chain. I prefer Kyron. Debo Higgins, I'll say it's a wash. That's fine. I'd rather have Gibbs than Ingram. Or no, it's really Gibbs versus Jones. I'd rather have Gibbs than Jones. And then Ingram, Hawkinson. I'd probably rather have Ingram, but it's kind of unknown. So, I mean, I don't think this.
Yeah. I don't want 2 guys on the Dolphins offense.
Yeah, like I don't think this trade is going to ruin you, but I prefer most of the side he traded away. And I never really understand trades like this. Like, what exactly did you accomplish here? You just swapped like a couple wide receivers and running. Like, you didn't really like upgrade anywhere significantly. Like, I mean, if now the Dolphins offense comes back and is super good, then, you know, I mean, I like Higgins a lot. I like Gibbs a lot. Hawkinson's got plenty of upside, but yeah, it's just like, what was the main point of doing this trade? You know, I definitely prefer Amon-Ra over Hill, Kyron over A-Chain. I think Higgins, Debo is very, very close, but yeah, I mean it's not going to like kill your season or anything, but we shall see. All right, two wide receivers of flex. We got Terry, Deontay, Cup, Neighbors, Addison, Mason. Definitely start Neighbors, start McLaurin, and flex Deontay.
Dante.
If Deontay doesn't play, then I go Cup. But I do like Addison.
Oh, over Addison. Yeah, I was gonna
Yeah,
say Lion secondary is bad, and Davis may not play, so they're really bad.
yeah, I like Addison, but I like Cup too. Plenty of good options. Packers have generally been a bend don't break defense that forces a lot of turnovers, definitely. But
I
they
mean, they
also,
broke against good offenses as they break is the problem. 31 to
yeah.
Minnesota, 34 to the Eagles, 37 to the Eagles.
So let's see, and they got like they play Houston this week. This is going to
It's a
be a
good off.
lower. Like they got 7 against Minnesota, 7 against Philly. 12. I mean, sorry, this is just fantasy points
Fantasy.
scored.
Yeah, they forced 2 turnovers against Minnesota, and they forced at least 1 against Philly.
Yeah, they actually had 3 turnovers against Philly, but allowed 34 points. They allowed 31 points to Minnesota and had 2 turnovers in that game. So, I mean, really, when you break it down, like they allowed 34 points to Philly, just 10 to the Colts, 14 to the Titans, 31 to the Vikings, 13 to the Rams, and 13 to the Cardinals. So, this is a tough matchup against the Texans this week. And they get a good matchup against the Jags. Like they'll probably smash in that spot. But then they play the Lions and they get a bye week. And then it's a much different stretch here after the bye week. The Bears, the Niners, the Dolphins, the Lions, the Seahawks. The Saints doesn't really sound scary right now. The
No,
Vikings. But
not the same.
the Packers are fine.
They forced turnovers.
Yeah,
It's good for fantasy.
right. That's good for fantasy, but they've allowed a lot of total yardage on the season. And so have the Vikings, who are another great defense right now. So I think we're kind of still in the hunt for who's going to end up being the best fantasy defense this year. But the Vikings have a really good stretch coming up. The Chargers have a really good stretch coming up too. They're a team that I'm keeping a really close eye on.
I'm just worried the Chargers don't force turnovers. Like
Yeah.
they'll pitch shutouts though, so maybe your ceiling's limited, but your floor is super high.
Yeah, they're going to have some fluctuation for sure. But this stretch in the immediate future, Cardinals, Saints with no Carr, like Carr is not going to be back next week. Then Deshaun Watson. Then unfortunately Mason Rudolph, who I thought was going to be Will Levis. But like then they play the Bengals and the Ravens and the Falcons and the Chiefs and the Bucks. Like I don't really feel good there, but we'll see. All right. If Brian Robinson plays, should I also start Eckler? If Washington goes a big, Eckler could see lots of touches. Thoughts or Domingo Tracy? um. Was there another player? I'm trying to think of who Domingo is.
Devin Tracy, probably
It's
Tracy.
probably just Tracy.
You talked about this though. It's almost like you talked about this in one of your videos with Eckler and Robinson. What are we doing with Eckler?
Yeah, that's what I was about to say. I talked about this throughout the week. You can definitely start Eckler. You look at this Panthers run defense the past couple of weeks. They're not just allowing the RB1 to score; they're allowing the RB2 to score. I mean, they're awful. Like they're last in the league for a reason. So the last 3 weeks, we've seen a touchdown to Bijan and Algier, to Swift and Rashawn Johnson, and then to Zach Moss and Chase Brown. So yeah, you can just fire up Eckler. If you want to go Tracy, that's okay too. Kincaid or Njoku. I'd probably go Kincaid because he's tied to the better offense, but maybe he's going to lose some targets with Cooper there. Maybe Njoku's going to gain targets with Cooper not there. So
Amari Cooper move. I can't trust Deshaun. Nobody can trust Deshaun Watson throwing the ball.
I know. I mean, I think it is good for Njoku, but it's like, what is this offense really actually at the end of the day? So just give me Kincaid. Colts or Eagles defense. I mean, I don't trust either of these defenses. I just don't want to start either. And because weren't the Colts popular last week? No, it was the last 2 weeks, and I didn't even like them against the Titans last week, and then the week before they had the Jags, and I didn't like them. They
Colts
just
run
suck.
defense is awful. Their run defense is atrocious, and Miami will run the ball.
Yeah, they're just a bad defense. I'm not a fan of starting bad defenses just because they're
Playing perceived
playing.
bad offenses.
Yeah. The Eagles get the Giants. I mean, the Giants, like, they're not really turning the football over a ton, believe it or not.
Neighbors is back. They can't cover him.
Yeah, I would try to look elsewhere.
I would say if you have to, I'd kind of lean Eagles just because I think they'll be able to get after Daniel Jones with the offensive line beat up. But
I mean,
we've seen them give up 40 points. The Eagles do.
Call me crazy. I'd rather start the Giants. I mean, they're the defense 8. Like they probably won't get you a high ceiling, but I think they could get you like 8-7 points in this matchup. The Patriots are really lowly rostered. I don't think they have a super high ceiling, but they could be decent. But I don't know. I'm kind of worried about them. A lot of people like the Rams at the Raiders or the Bengals at the Browns.
I don't hate the Bengals at the Browns either.
Yeah. And both of those, once again, to the point I just said, like they're both bad defenses. But
the Bengals did at least look good last week in their most recent appearance. I know the Giants were super kind of undermanned, but they at least looked like they maybe found something.
Fair. The Chargers are pretty lowly rostered at 36.
That's the play.
Yeah, I like them. So yeah, I would try to stay away from the Colts and Eagles if possible. Would you trade Kamara for Gibbs? I mean, you could. It's basically a wash, but I don't want to overreact to Kamara's bad game. I mean, the Broncos just dominated the Saints with a rookie quarterback, you know. Carr is supposed to be back like week 9, I think. Depends on who you want here, but don't forget Kamara is like the RB2 like the past like 6 weeks or whatever. So would you drop Braylon Allen for Kamani Vidal? I mean, you certainly can, but you're still looking at 2 handcuffs. Vidal has the recency bias where he scored a touchdown last week. I will say I could see Vidal carving out a bigger role than Braylon Allen as long as Breece Hall is healthy. Would you trade Jones for Pickens? You got Cook, Gibbs, Chubb, Bigsby, Ray Davis. No. Evans, Hill, Godwin, T. Higgins, Sutton.
Yeah.
I feel like you need the RB help more.
You don't need a wide receiver with this team.
Yeah. Pickens is a big question mark for me. Like, he's got a pretty good schedule coming up after the bye week. It's either going to be Russell Wilson helps Pickens or somehow makes him worse.
I don't think it's possible. I don't think that's possible.
The passing game either improves and Pickens gets a lot of targets or
stays about the same.
Yeah. You know, and then like if the Russell thing goes bad, then they're going to go back to Fields, and then we're back where we started, where it's just very volatile. But he has a really good schedule. But it's like he gets the Jets this week and the Giants next week, and then a bye week. Like, I think I just hold if I'm you. Traded Brian Thomas Jr. for Amari straight up. I mean, this could pay off. Like Amari could end up being a league winner, but I probably would have held Brian Thomas Jr. But also, as the season goes on, one thing that becomes important is like having players on teams
that are good and are playing for games.
Right, that are playing for the playoffs and playoffs.
Yeah, win. They're trying to win. Like everybody's trying to win, but other teams are trying to really win.
And Jags could just absolutely like fall off the bandwagon here. We shall see. Two running backs in a flex. The space goes. We got Mason, A-Chain, Singletary, Bigsby, Eckler. I probably go A-Chain, Eckler, and Mason. If ETN doesn't play, you could throw Bigsby in over whoever you like the least. Like, there's concern with all three of those guys to a degree. Mason, a little banged up, tough matchup. A-Chain, no quarterback. Eckler is still the RB2, but I think those are the best plays. Is the Bills defense still a good option now that Mason's going to be the quarterback? I mean, they're fine. They're
averaging a
averaging,
little bit.
yeah, they're averaging like 9 fantasy points a game. Like, I think they're the defense 6, defense 9. My bad. They're at home. Like, they could still, like, Mason Rudolph could come out and throw 2 picks, and like they could score. Like, we don't know what to expect. He looked like he was a safe option when he played the other week. So, also the Vikings defense, should I start them instead? I mean, I think I would go with the Bills because you get more perceived upside, but don't drop the Vikings. Do not drop the Vikings.
Just a bad matchup this week. And we could be wrong. Like, the Vikings defense could throw another gem out there and shut down the Lions offense. But it's risky. It's risky.
Or they could come out and give up a fair amount of points and still walk away with enough fantasy points, like
sacks, a couple turnovers, 4 sacks, good day.
Right. I mean, geez, they have been really good this year.
This is definitely the best offense they face, though.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, they only gave up 7 points to Houston. I forgot about that. Gave up 17 to the Niners and had 13 fantasy points. Gave up 29 points to the Packers and had 9 fantasy points.
But that game was 28-0.
Yeah.
Right before the half. That was a lot of garbage points.
So we shall see. But yeah, I'd rather start the Bills still. Should I accept this trade? Hawkinson for Chubb? Depends. I mean, what do you need? Do you need the running back help? Go get the running back. Sure.
Both are like the mystery option.
Yeah, this is like a big
perfect IR mystery option. Who are we going with?
Andrea, thanks for hanging out. Have a good night. 2 running backs, 2 wide receivers, and a flex. Gibbs, Jones, Najee, Bigsby, Reed, Diggs, Wilson, Amari, Smith. Okay. Start Gibbs for sure. Is Jones playing?
I don't think. Maybe.
Right?
Yeah, he's questionable. He practiced a little bit. I don't know. I genuinely do not know. I would say he doesn't play, and it's a smokescreen, but he could play limited snaps. I don't know. Weird spot.
Not a great matchup, but it's a good game script.
Yeah, they're gonna they're gonna have to run the ball. They do play on Thursday next week, so maybe you sit them and then have him to go on Thursday. That's the Hawk thing. Hawk's not playing this week because he's gonna play next Thursday.
Yeah. I mean, I'll go Gibbs and Najee. Bigsby just feels like Bigsby's dependent on ETN. Like, if ETN's out, then I'll go Bigsby. If not, then I guess I'll go Najee. But Gibbs for sure. Wide receivers, I mean, any of these guys can outscore each other, but I'll go Jaden Reed, Diggs. I just like that game script. And I probably go Devonta Smith. But, I mean, Amari and Garrett Wilson are great as well. But they're both like, what are we going to get out of them?
Yeah,
it's probably going to be good, but, very close there. T-Money, we got a 10-man. Burrow, Jacobs, Gibbs, CD, Chase, Kincaid, DK, Myers, Bucky Irving, Tracy Downs, Pop Douglas, Worthy, Brooks on IR. 3-3. Should I drop anyone for a Lad? I mean, he could drop Myers. I think Lad's probably the number 1 receiving option on the Chargers. Myers, the number 1 receiving option on the Raiders. They're both banged up. They both have low ceilings. But other than that, I'm probably holding everyone that you got here. Should I trade Worthy for Hawkinson? I'd probably hold Worthy. Who's your tight end? Kincaid? Nah, I just hold Worthy.
No, yeah.
Colts defense are the Commanders. I will go the Commanders still. Like I think they are streamable, but they're also risky. Said that in the video. I would still rather start them at home against the Panthers than start the Colts. All right, so Chandler's trade question. I forgot it. All right, here it is. Henry for JJ and Pollard. So we got C-Mac, Henry, Bijan, Pacheco. Jeez. Just imagine if those guys stayed healthy. And Sermon. Debo, Evans, Dobbs, Myers, Lockett, Ingram, and Goddard. It's an auction league. Wow. Imagine spending all your money in your auction draft and coming out with Henry, Bijan, Pacheco, and CMC just for two of them to be hurt.
It's depressing.
That is depressing. I'm sad. I don't know that I'm trading Henry here. I mean, what's your record? I think I'm still holding it. It's very close. I mean, if you do the trade, then you got Bijan, Pollard, JJ, Debo, Evans. Like that's a very solid lineup. And then you get Pacheco and CMC maybe at some point in time. If you don't do the trade, then you still have a good lineup, but your flex is not as strong. I think if you like the trade, you can do it. But if you trade Derrick Henry and he has a historic year, then you got to live with that, you know. But you're getting a top 5 wide receiver and a viable RB2. And then if you do the trade, then it opens up your flex. Like you have Debo, Evans, JJ, Bijan, and Pollard, but you lose the best player in fantasy football, right?
Yeah,
right.
right? I mean, it just hurts so much.
Yeah, that's why I'm kind of like,
because you have to be overwhelmed to give up Henry.
Yeah, Henry has 135 points on the year. Jamar Chase has 120. That's the next closest, if I'm not mistaken, unless it's Kamara. Well, Kamara technically, because he's played, has an extra game, has the most points, but Henry will overcome that this weekend. But yeah, I think I would hold, but it is close. It is close. Like if you're like 1-5, then maybe just go ahead and make the change. If you're like 3-3 or better, I think I just hold. But yeah, that lineup does make me sad. Who? Singletary or Tracy? I mean, I think we got this earlier. You're just flipping a coin. I would assume the upside lies with Tyrone Tracy, but it's very. I mean, it's your call is as good as my call.
Dable didn't help us at all. He's like, both guys are going to get a lot of, Tracy's going to get a lot of touches. Singletary's good to go. He's going to get the ball.
Yeah, I mean, the Eagles 13th against the position. Like, trust your gut. We appreciate you. Adventures from the Q. Saw today that Miami brought up Tim Boyle for the practice squad. Means nothing.
Yeah, probably just an emergency quarterback.
Yeah. Thompson's been banged up too. Boyle's been banged up. Stay away. Tua's coming back. Texas currently down 17-0. I'm convinced OU just curses every team they play.
20-0 now, baby. Let's go. Oh,
college football is so
the best.
So scary.
The best.
Katz is here. Sit one of Cooper, B-Tom, Ayuk, or JSN. I'm just sitting Ayuk. I just am. It's not a good matchup. If Ayuk has a good week, you guys can come back and yell at me, but I just don't envision Ayuk having a game that's going to win you your week. So I'm staying away. Clarity, Etienne or Bigsby? I mean, I probably go Bigsby. But we probably won't know if Etienne's going to play till tomorrow, anyways. So, Albert, what's up, bro? With Russell Wilson, worse is always possible.
No, Russell Wilson was not that bad last year. The statistics back it up. He was fine last year.
Yeah, he was like
slightly below average.
I want to say he was the QB 14. Yep. I was going to say, I think he was a top 15 quarterback. QB 16 the year before, QB 16 2021, QB 9 or better every year from 2013 and 2020. So Russ might have a little something. We shall see. Goodson or Sermon? Once again, like I like Sermon more, but I talked about this earlier. I don't know why. I just do. I just think Sermon's gonna run in a touchdown, you know. But I don't prefer to start either. Who's a better stash, Vidal or Davis? Davis. Like Vidal might have some standalone value, and I like Vidal a lot. But Davis, we've seen if Cook doesn't play, we've seen what they will do with Davis already. So he's a great handcuff. Would you drop Ladd for a running back stash if he's your wide receiver 5? Probably not. I prefer the depth at wide receiver. What I gathered was Bills defense a great play, like the Chargers defense against the Cardinals more. I'll say the Cardinals are like a floor option, and the Bills are a bit more of an upside play. But both are very good plays. AJ Brown, Neighbors, Flowers, Smith. Who should I play? I mean, you really can't go wrong here. You got to start Brown. You got to start Neighbors. Then maybe you diversify and go Flowers, but Smith always seems to play well against the Giants. Like, I mean, and it's Devonta. You know, I'm assuming you can only bench one, so Flowers are.
No, he can only play one with that lineup.
Yeah, I mean, you have a good start no matter what. All right, we got Daniels, CD, Deco, Devonta, Addison, Worthy, JSN, Waddle, Gibbs, Kamara, Cotter, JK. 8-man league. All the teams are stacked. You know, wide receiver. Well, you could, if you really want to upgrade, I'd wait till the week ends. See, like, if Addison has a big week or maybe Worthy pops in a good game script. Maybe somebody wants to specifically buy Waddle before Tua's back. So I try to use that tier of guys. Like I don't want to trade CD, Nico, or Devonta. And I still like the rest of the wide receivers, but if you can use Addison or Worthy, maybe coming off a big week. JSN's got a good matchup too. Maybe somebody wants Waddle and then pair them. Kind of depends on who you want to pair them with. Keep Gibbs. I would prefer to keep Kamara, but you could probably still leverage Kamara pretty nicely here with one of those wide receivers and get a good upgrade at wide receiver. Just don't trade Gibbs, and I prefer to keep J.K. Dobbins. And I really prefer to keep Kamara, but it just depends. You could get a decent trade for one of those guys after a good week and Connor, but you're probably going to get a much better trade if you leverage Kamara, but I just don't prefer it. Darnold, Mahomes, Stafford. Pick one. Darnold. Just give me Sammy D.
Points.
Yep. Thanks for the fantasy content week in, week out. Thank you for the fantasy questions. Got offered Waddle for Pickens. It comes down to personal preference. Do you believe in the Dolphins offense with Tua back, or do you prefer in the Steelers with Russell Wilson? I don't really have a preference here. Both these players have just become such a stain for me. I think Waddle might have a little bit more upside. Like there's more unknown. I think Pickett's going to have a tough 2-ish weeks here. And then Pickett's could be really good. So I have no idea what the Dolphins. Let's see. They've had their bye week. They get the Bills, the Rams, the Raiders, the Patriots, Packers, Jets, Texans, Niners, Browns. I mean, it's not really like a super attractive schedule. It's not awful though. Pickens.
It's Pickens. We don't know.
He's Pickens. But after the bye, the Commanders, the Ravens, the Browns, the Bengals, the Browns, the Eagles, the Ravens.
You can survive. Yeah, if you can survive.
And then he gets Kansas City in the championship, which I don't like. But I think I would rather have Pickens just for the schedule. But both these teams have big question marks. Chase, what's up? Kirk or Darnold? I mean, I'm starting Darnold this week, but you could start Kirk. That's okay. But
it's a good match.
Yeah. Kirk, Gino, good game script. Darnold, Goff, good game script. Dobbs or Watson? I mean, flip a coin. Dobbs for the floor, Watson for upside. Are we confidently starting B-Rob and Mason this week? B-Rob for sure. I mean, B-Rob's playing the worst run defense in the league, so for sure. Mason, very, very tough matchup. He's startable, but I think the ceiling's low this week.
B-Rob's getting a touchdown if he plays.
B-Rob will score a touchdown. You could bet your entire life savings on an anytime touchdown score for B-Rob if he plays this week. Just kidding. Don't do that. How do you feel about?
But he'll get a touchdown.
He will get a touchdown. How do you feel about Tucker Kraft this week? I'm 5-1. What's up, Caleb? Kraft's fine, but Kraft, I talked about this even when Kraft was playing really well. Like, you take away these touchdowns, what are we really getting here? But I'm expecting points in this matchup. It's a good matchup, I believe, against the position. No, Texans are 4th against the position. It's a good matchup for Schultz. Packers have been really bad against tight ends, but yeah, I'd probably still start Kraft. But keep in mind, when he had those big games too, like, we weren't really getting that involvement out of Dobbs and Watson. So
yeah, I can't imagine. Yeah, like, what are your other options at tight end? I can't imagine your other options are much better. So Kraft's fine.
Yeah, Kraft still has the upside, but it is a good week for tight end streamers. I like Kate Otten this week. I like Zach Ertz. I like Hunter Henry. But I'm in a couple leagues and pretty important matchups this week where I have Kraft. I'm like, do I pick up one of those guys I just listed, or do I just roll with Kraft? And right now I'm rolling with Kraft. When will Chubb come back? Probably tomorrow.
This week? He's playing tomorrow. Yeah. He's good to go. Activated on the roster.
Yeah, he's going to get touches. I mean, Ford is hurt, and yeah. It's the only thing we can look forward to with the Browns.
Go Chubb.
Yeah, everyone's happy for Chubb. Noah Gray, Disley, or Hurst? Gotta love this. I'm going. Where did the Cardinals come in at tight end?
They can't be good. They're bad at everything on defense, the Cardinals.
Why would it not surprise me if they're like sneaky? Okay, they're bad. 17th. It's like, why would it not surprise me if they're top 5 somehow?
No, I know a couple Cardinals fans who I will see their Twitter, and it's like the defense is just bad at everything. Yeah. The defense is not good anywhere.
I think Will Disley's a sneaky guy. I think he could. I mean, obviously, like, he had 6 points last week, in his most targeted game. So don't get too excited. And Hayden Hurst is probably not playing. I go Will Disley. But Noah Gray, Will Disley, like, you're going to get a couple points. which is funny because I've had to, in a dynasty league, I've had to spot play both of these tight ends. I'm gonna say Will Disley, but I mean, your guess is as good as mine. Richardson or Burrow? Burrow.
Joe Burrow.
Hasn't Burrow play like really bad against the Browns?
Browns, yeah, probably. I don't think he's ever beaten the Browns.
But
Richardson is one hit away from being out for the game. You can't play him, and he can't throw.
So Burrow in his rookie season had 31 points against the Browns in week 7.
But they still lost.
In week 2. Right. I'm sure they lost. Played bad against them in 2021 in week 9. Then didn't play in week 18 because I guess they didn't need to. 2022, 14 points and 17 points. 2023, 3 points in week 1. And that was it. Yeah, I'm not going to read too much into that. I'm going to start Burrow. Williams, Waddle, or Robinson? Which Williams? Mike Williams? Jameson Williams?
All the Williams.
If it's Jameson, then JMO. If not, then probably just go Robinson. Expect a call from my lawyer. B-Rob doesn't score. Thoughts on this trade? I need a running back. Sent Kirk for Dowdle. That's fine. I mean, if you're okay at wide receiver, like I still like Kirk, but yeah, Dowdle's a guy I talked about in the buy low video. Like I think Dowdle's a good buy low. Caleb has Goddard out. It's tough.
There you go. Yeah,
tough. I'm assuming that's dynasty format with those tight ends.
It's just not a. She doesn't have a better tight end option. Go with Kraft. Yeah. Talk Kraft. No
problem. Swans full PPR. Stevenson or Hunt? Ooh, I think Stevenson's gonna have a good week.
Niners are good against. Are the Niners good against the run? I don't know if they are.
Let's see. They come in 15th. They're in the middle.
It's not. Yeah.
I'd like Hunt, but I'd probably go Stevenson. I think he's gonna have a big week.
I don't think there's a bad play here.
No. Deontay or Evans. Listen, I really like Deontay, but it's got to be Mike Evans. Got to be Mike Evans against the Ravens. Frizzle. Thanks for the super chat. Dancing. Is that a pear? It's a sticker. Bigsby, Leggett, Pop or Ridley. I'm going with Pop Douglas here. Like this is the type of situation where I'm taking the upside in the matchup with Pop Douglas. I do like Leggett though. Starting Drake May over Kyler. Flowers, Smith, Bijan, Mixon, Otten. Yeah. Everything's good here. I mean, if you want to go Drake May, go for the upside over Kyler. Fair. But just don't be mad if Kyler has, a 20 fantasy point day. But yeah, I definitely go Pop Douglas in the flex there. How do you feel about Ertz this week? I have Ferguson on bye, Parkinson, Otten, Fant, Conklin. I like Ertz. I think he's a very solid start. It's Ertz or it's Kate Otten for me. They're both on the streaming radar there. But yeah, Ertz very solid. The Panthers have been really poor against tight ends. Tommy, have a good night, bro. Pop Douglas to the moon. Thoughts on Adams and Cooper trades? What can I expect as a Josh Allen and Devontae Adams fantasy order? It's good for both. I mean, Josh Allen should be better with a true wide receiver 1 to throw to. And Adams should be better with a better quarterback throwing to him. But, this is a good thing if you own both these players, for sure. Evan, happy PR. Start 1 running back, 2 wide receivers in a flex. We got Pollard, Najee, Chubb, Devontae, DK, Devonta, JMO. So definitely start Pollard. Start. Ooh. It's definitely, Devontae, DK, Devontae, DK Devonta, and JMO, but we gotta get rid of one of them. Is it crazy that I automatically think Devontae Adams, just because it's his first game with the offense?
Yeah, but that means he's getting a touchdown. Like they're just gonna feed him a
Probably.
touchdown.
That's exactly what I'm thinking too. I mean, Evan, you definitely start Pollard at running back, and then it's whoever you like the least out of the wide receiver sitting here, you bench. But they're all very good starts. Never had it so good. We got a running back, wide receiver, flex. Let's go B-Rob at running back. If he's not healthy, just go A-Chain. Go Devonta Smith always. Give me Adams in the flex, but Addison's a good play too. Would you start Singletary or Moss over Cooper? No, that like this type of situation. Just give me. Let's risk it for the biscuit.
Amari Cooper, another guy who might get fed a touchdown.
Yeah, maybe he's not crazy involved. Maybe Adams not crazy involved, but they're gonna get used. You know, they're gonna get some shots.
They want them to catch touchdowns. Week like first game with the team.
Yeah.
Like they'll have something drawn up that's super easy that they can win on.
And Snead, like the Titans aren't giving up a lot of fantasy points to wide receivers, but Snead is not playing well. Just in case anyone's wondering. So I like Coop. Tyler, you are our favorite. Thank you.
Only one of our favorites, though.
Yes. Heisman, you hoes. Question for you both, percentage-wise. How much does your opponent's team / lineups affect what you do? 0.
Unless like they had somebody already play in like the Thursday night game and they put up like a crazy number or they did absolutely nothing. But if it's just like no, everybody's playing on Sundays or Mondays and nobody has anything set 0, I do not care what the hell they do. I look at it and get worried and be like, oh no, this is a good matchup for them, but I don't change my play at all.
Yeah, and I believe it or not, I hardly look at my opponent's lineup. Like if you're on Sleeper, you have the matchup tab or the team tab. I usually just go through the team tab. But I do agree with that point. Like if you're going into Sunday and you know, you played 2 players that balled out in Thursday night football. You know, if you went up again, I was trying to think of a good example.
So I have a good example. Like, so I played the Broncos defense on Thursday. They had a huge day. So I'm going to play a little bit more conservative. That's the league I'm sitting Ayuk, and I'm going to play Chase Brown. Like, Chase Brown may have a limited ceiling, but I think he's just going to have a solid week where Ayuk could just do nothing. I don't need to get risky when my defense puts up 22 points or anything like that.
I was like, wait, who actually scored points?
Broncos, or Javonte.
If
somebody played Javonte, in that matchup, my cousin sat Javonte against me. So I'm like, all right, I'm in good shape.
And see, if I'm in that situation, I might actually do the opposite and get more aggressive and play a player with more upside in the flex as opposed to a ground player. But what you're saying is fair too. But yeah, I don't really care what my opponent does. And I never like projections, whatever. They don't mean anything. They don't mean anything. Should I trade Etienne and Dobbs for Stevenson and Juju? I think I would definitely consider this because you kind of get rid of the Jaguars' headache. And I mean, Juju is still a big unknown, but yeah, it comes down to personal preference. I don't dislike this trade though. Evan got offered Evans, and I give up Chubb and JMO. Is it a good sell high on JMO and name value for Chubb? I would say just in general, it's an okay trade. Like, I mean, we're not really selling high on JMO is my issue. I mean, you are technically speaking, but JMO's been good all year. Like, he had the one bad game in week 3. Other than that, he's had 14 or more fantasy points. He's a top 15 wide receiver in fantasy. So, and Chubb is a big question mark. You know, Chubb will probably be fine, but he's also a part of an awful defense. So, I mean, I would say in general, like this is a good trade for Mike Evans because I think Evans is going to continue to be great. I mean, we expected Evans to have a bad game last week, or at least I did. And he had a bad game against Denver and then didn't play great against Detroit, but he's still a top 10 fantasy wide receiver. So if anything, you're giving up Chubb and J-Mo to slightly tier up. Maybe you don't need to slightly tier up here, though, because J-Mo's still been really good. So if you need help at running back, maybe you just hold. Yeah, Will Lutz had a big game as well. Would you start Richardson or Goff? I go Goff.
Yeah.
I don't think you have to, I don't think Richardson you have to drop. I don't think the year's over for Richardson, but I'd probably go Goff. Got offered Darnold for Goddard. I mean, it depends. Do you need Goddard? What does that do to the tight? Do you have Ingram? Do you have
you have Goff, and
yeah,
Richardson. I don't think you need Darnold.
true, that too. Or if you acquired Darnold, can you
flip
trade
them? Yeah.
someone else? But then what are you going to get back? It's kind of tough trading quarterbacks. So you have Kincaid. I mean, I do really like Darnold's upcoming schedule.
Yeah.
So if you want to snag him, and then that's the thing, though, we're about that point in the season. It's smart to keep a second quarterback in case of injury, but you really want to try and get one guy that you just ride with, and you're going to get some fluctuation. But I mean, Darnold's schedule: the Lions, the Rams, the Colts, the Jags, the Titans, the Bears, the Cardinals, the Falcons, the Bears, the Seahawks, the Packers. I mean, I'm all in on Darnold.
Slightly worried. Maybe Darnold's hit the wall. I don't know.
Yeah,
But
I mean, we've heard that too. But
he is banged up. He's been banged up the last 2 games.
Jones has been banged up. He'll come back this
Everybody's
week or
banged up.
next. Hawkinson's coming back.
Schedule soft.
Yeah. Addison's still kind of getting warmed up. I feel good about it. Pete has more reason to be.
I've seen this story before.
Yeah,
2016, 5-0, missed the playoffs, but
so
schedule isn't tough. They should win.
Yeah. So yeah, I mean, if you like it, you can go for it, but you're not going to need Richardson, Goff, and Darnold. Goddard and Kincaid is a good tight end room as well, so if you just want to keep that, Goddard is not out for the whole season,
Yeah.
Should I trade Marvin Harrison for Tyreek? That's close. I think right now recency bias is putting this down on Marvin Harrison Jr. Let's see. After this week, he gets Miami, Chicago, the Jets. That is a bad stretch. Chargers, he's out this. Oh no, he's playing. I'm sorry. Yeah. Chargers, Miami, Chicago, the Jets. Those are all top 5 units, I think. That's tough. Hold on, I want to. Yeah, Miami's 3, the Jets are 4, the Bears are 5, the Chargers are 8. So that's tough. Then a bye week: Seattle, Minnesota, Seattle, New England, Carolina, the Rams. I mean, that's better for sure. I don't know. I'm not out on Marvin Harrison Jr., but if you like Hill, this is fair.
So time to do it. Yeah, it's time.
Yeah, because let's see. Tua's going to come back against the Cardinals.
It's bad defense.
At home. That's probably a good spot. But then they get Buffalo, a little bit tougher. They're at the Rams, Las Vegas, New England, Green Bay, the Jets. Not great. Houston, San Fran, Cleveland. I mean, it's a better schedule for the Dolphins, but just understand, the year's not over for Marvin Harrison Jr. If you trade him, then he starts popping off. But that is a pretty tough schedule for the Cardinals, to say the least. So, just be careful. Proceed with caution either way. All right, guys, made it to the bottom of the chat. 2.5 hours. That'll probably do it for the night. We should be on tomorrow, even if it's just for a bit. Not before the London game, but before before the afternoon games. And then we're just rolling straight into week 8. Wednesday. Once we get to Wednesday, we are halfway through the season. That's crazy. So we'll just keep doing what we're doing here on the channel, getting plenty of content out for you guys. And hopefully helping you guys bring home a lot of dubs. It's been a tough season. But we're getting through it, ladies and gentlemen. So good luck to everyone if we don't talk to you guys tomorrow. But we should be on for a bit tomorrow. Last week I woke up with the fever and I was like, we're not streaming. So we'll see what happens tomorrow. Hit the like button or you'll go down 23-0 like Texas.
Yeah.
Hit the like on the way out, guys. I'll have a video up for you guys in the morning. We have plenty of content out from the week. So if you guys need anything, go check out some of the videos. We have literally just about everything you could think of on the channel. So thank you guys for all the support. Been another great week on the channel. Thank you guys for all the fantasy questions tonight. Pete, I'll let you say bye and we'll jet on out of here.
Yep. Good hanging out, guys. Probably be on tomorrow morning. If not, don't worry about it. It's here. We're like over almost. It's really sad. Sad day for us. But yeah. Check it out. If you have any last minute questions, leave a comment. We'll knock them out. But yeah, let's do it.
Let's do it. All right. With that, I'll say thank you guys so much for watching and or listening. And remember, you saw it here on The Catch. And